Today on the Star Trek Critic, Borg.
You are not Morg or I Morg.
No, not that. Named in honor of the book, Robot. This show isn't about a Borg discovering individuality. It's about a run-in between the evil capitalist colonists with the evil Marxist colonists. I mean, seriously, what other reason would either of them be out here? Here is proof they are looking for colonization. Data finds a possible distress call. Riker tells Crusher to bring a medical team. Riker does Picard maneuver number 1. The first point is lost for a single set of doors on the turbolift. I love matte paintings, but 1 point lost since you can clearly see the corner, right where they beam down. 1 point lost since Beverly didn't bring that medical team. 1 point lost for not bringing jackets. There is snow on the ground, and they might have to be there for extended time. 1 point lost here. When Riker spins around, he points his phaser at Beverly and Worf. Another point lost here. When they are walking, Riker is still aiming at Beverly. They should really have a gun expert on the set to tell Riker he should be walking backwards looking for anything behind them. They found a Borg. Their biggest problem is what if the Borg rescue ship is alerted to their presence. Rumor is Jonathan Del Arco tried out of the role of Wesley Crusher, which explains why Beverly wants to take care of him. Picard says, "Ew. Borg are icky. Leave him behind." Worf wants to kill, which is what changes Picard's mind, since they always do the opposite of their chief of security. Based on this conversation, they will only be able to stop the homing signal inside the detention cell. Data uses his telepathic abilities to tell Deanna she actually has to do her job in this show. 1 point lost for opening credits 6 minutes into the show. Deanna goes into his ready room. Either Picard likes watching screensavers of the Enterprise, or he uses this to hide that he was watching porn right before she came in. Deanna offers assistance. Picard tells his therapist to mind her own business like they all do, and Deanna leaves, knowing full well he will go talk to Guinan instead. You can tell this is a secluded area of the ship since no extra crosses when the doors open. 1 point lost for Beverly in the cell without security. Picard suggests to Geordi about injecting a computer virus to take out the Borg collective. Beverly flips out. Of course, this was done on Independence Day, and tried on both versions of Battlestar Galactica. The next scene takes place in the conference room so Picard can show them all how studly he looks in his gray shirt. 1 point lost for Deanna in a cat suit for ratings. Then she says the first baseman is hurt and needs our help. Beverly again flips out. Picard says, "Beverly, it's not like he's your son or anything." Beverly says, "You don't know that. It could be possible that we have sex in the future. You impregnate me with your Borg sperm, I give birth to baby Borg, and the Borg take it and send it back to the past just for this instance." Picard says, "Beverly, that's as silly as the narrator using an AI-generated voice. The Borg shows off his mime skills." Picard says he is alone, maybe he wants to phone home. Beverly says he is hungry and mansplains to Picard how Borg eat. Picard says, "Thanks for telling me, it's not like I was a Borg at one time and already know that." Guinan complains about the Borg on the ship. Picard says, "You know your race of listeners could have told us 100 years ago about them, but you didn't say shit, so you don't get a vote." 1 point lost since the force field goes up on its own. Worf went into the cell to assist Geordi, but not Beverly. That's sexist. Geordi says the first baseman's preferred pronouns are we whim. 1 point lost for not having a more detailed designation. The Borg says he is auditioning for Deep Space Nine. Worf says there were no Borg on DS9. Geordi says, "How do you know that?" Worf says, "I was on the show for 5 years. Geordi says that show hasn't come out yet. Worf says, "No, this year is 2368, which means DS9 has been in reruns for 300 years. I watch it all the time, I look so sexy on it." The Borg prisoner is sick of their nonsense, so starts to talk smack. Geordi says, "I love you." Beverly says, "I know." 1 point lost for Beverly assisting in this project. There are 1,000 scientists on the ship. If she has reservations on crafting the virus, have someone else do it. The Borg calls her the left fielder. 1 point lost for not asking him if he was assimilated, or born a Borg. Now they do the unthinkable. They gave Hugh a name. That's like naming your food.
Here, try one of these. They look delicious.
Oh, they are. Don't you recognize her?
Oh, you mean it?
It's Cleopatra. It's our donation. What's the matter? Aren't you going to eat it?
What do you think I am, a cannibal?
The medical doctor continues to do computer science. Since there are no computer experts on the ship, Hugh shows off his eyepiece thinking they will love all the Borg toys they will get when they are assimilated. Hugh mentions that he can't hear all the other Borg, and he is lonely. How could they handle all those voices in their heads all the time? Geordi talks to Guinan about the third baseman. Guinan says the Borg are icky. Geordi says go listen to him. 1 point lost since the size of the incoming ship is not the same size of that scout ship. Guinan and Hugh have a bonding moment. 1 point lost since the planet is simply sliding sideways. Hugh starts to ask questions like a 3-year-old. Geordi explains why humans don't want to be assimilated. Hugh never mentions being assimilated himself. One point is lost, since they never mention if the lab or anywhere else has been modified to block the Borg signal. Hugh learns having friends replaces the voices in his head, which means the first baseman will always be with you. This is a 3-dimensional projection of a 4-dimensional cube, a tesseract. The way they explain it is that the virus is embedded in the image, so will sit and be passed around a while for the virus to actually infect the Borg. Why is Data taking credit for Beverly's hard work? -1 point. Picard maneuver number 2. What they don't take into account is that the Borg have been around for thousands of years, so are probably prepared for virus attacks. It might not work, so there is no reason to have second thoughts about this. Geordi blames the third baseman. Picard says he misses the old lab rat days. Geordi is like, did he just really say that? Have you ever wondered if the Enterprise has a used bookstore? Picard is ready for bed, and his hooker has shown up. It turns out to be Guinan, who is collecting his bar tab.
$2.
She says you can pay your bar tab, or we do the nasty, and I tell everyone we did the nasty, and now you are rethinking why she is talking about a strong forearm. Guinan says Picard should look his enemy in the eyes. 1 point lost for the white line on the side of the screen. Picard took Guinan's advice since he would never take Deanna's. 1 point lost for not having this meeting somewhere away from the bridge. The first thing Hugh says is, Dad? Picard says he is an undercover Borg. While Hugh believes he is Locutus, he actually does stand up to him. What probably surprised everyone is how quickly a lone Borg regains his individuality. Jean-Luc does Picard maneuver 3. Beverly is like I told you so. We need to treat them with respect. Now she is going to rub their noses in it. It's not like she is going to destroy a Borg ship or anything. Picard is convinced that maybe Hugh's sense of individuality will work like a virus instead. As long as they don't run into Lore, they should be alright. Beverly also points out that Hugh should be given a choice on going back. She is on a roll right now, like she is protecting her son. Back in the ready room, Hugh is thinking, why does Locutus have a shrine for the most invasive species on Earth? And they call the Borg bad. Hugh says the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Ironically, Geordi has terrible luck with women all through the series, but now a lost teenage male Borg wants to move in with him. This just got weird. Hugh decides to go back to the collective. This isn't always true. The Enterprise hides in the chromosphere. 1 point lost for a visible microphone. 1 point lost since Geordi doesn't have a jacket. He will be on the moon for a while since the Enterprise is hiding. 1 point lost for Geordi standing so close to the crashed ship. The Borg might destroy it from space. And Hugh takes one last look at Geordi, which means their idea might work. Jonathan Del Arco was born in Uruguay. He has 45 screen credits, starting with Miami Vice, The Wonder Years, and Major Crimes. He tried out for Wesley Crusher, but the producers offered him the chance to be the Borg son of Beverly and Locutus sent from the future, which no one knew about until now. The Borg knew the Enterprise was going to the Argolis cluster and dropped him off here. He will be back in 2 years, as well as on Picard. He also had a part on Voyager. Borg, where they discover their enemy's humanity and have difficulty sending him back with a lethal virus, gets a score of 78. It has always been a fan favorite. Be sure to leave comments below, click that like button, the share button, and the subscribe button, and come back next week for the next phase.
Do I have a name? We are Hugh.